Hi, if you're an autistic or ADHD leader looking to make the leap into entrepreneurship and running your own business, then this video is for you. I'm Nikki Butler, also known as the Autistic Joyologist. I was diagnosed autistic and ADHD in my mid-40s, which was almost a decade into running my own businesses as an entrepreneur. Prior to that, I'd had a decade and a half in corporate, in legal leadership. And when I made that leap from corporate to being an entrepreneur, there are 3 things that I really wish I'd known and I'd love to share with you in this video. Number 1 is to leave behind any of the negative narrative or perspectives you have about yourself from corporate life. Now, as an autistic ADHD'er, when I reflect back on my time in corporate, I noticed that the things that were pointed out as my weaknesses, my failings, areas that I needed to do better in, try harder with, those actually turned out to be my strengths within my businesses. And I'll give you an example. So the organisations that I worked within really valued data analytics, the ability to work with very tight processes and to analyse everything that was going on within the business practices. Now, my strength is creative problem solving, dynamic pivoting, and being able to see opportunities where others can't. Now, there was a real mismatch of skills within me and within the organisation. And I always say that our skills and our strengths are dependent on our environment and the context. So a famous saying, I never remember where it comes from, but a famous saying is, you wouldn't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. And actually, that's what I mean when I say to you, let go of the negative narrative, let go of the beliefs that you had in corporate about the things that you weren't so good at, or even the areas that you considered to be your strengths. Because often when we're in those environments for a long period of time, we take on the feedback of the things that others are congratulating us on, or others are telling us we need to do better, try harder with. But I want you to think about leaving that when you step into entrepreneurship, because when you really start to understand your key strengths, the things that come easily or more naturally to you, it's really going to be valuable when you're crafting your own business. That leads me really nicely onto point number 2, and that is to create a business that works for you. And that isn't just about looking at using your strengths, but it's about thinking about your energy levels and the way that you like to work. So, you know, if you've come from an organisation which is structured, you have a to-do list for the day, there are things you're expected to do by the end of the week, know that you don't necessarily have to bring that into your business, into your own way of working. I used to work to very hard structures where I'd have daily tasks that I had to achieve, and I was monitored in some jobs and the number of tasks I'd achieve in a day. But that doesn't work with my natural energy and focus. I need to be able to work in the way where, you know, some days my energy and my focus are really high and I can focus on tasks that I can get through really, really quickly and really get some good traction with. But I equally need to have the opportunity to choose tasks that require less focus, less energy, less time, so that I can feel like I'm making progress, but it's not exhausting me or it's not stretching me beyond what's possible on that day. And I have the ability to step back and have days where if I don't have the energy to work, I can give myself the grace to not do that. So when you're creating your business, think about what your ideal way of working is. What type of business do you want to run? How do you want that to fit in with the rest of your life, with your social life, with your personal life, with any family commitments? That's really important. Because what I don't want you to do is take all of the stress and the overwhelm from your corporate life and just pick it up and put it into running your own business, because you're going to find you're no happier doing that than if you remained in corporate. So you have a beautiful opportunity to think about changing the narrative, to creating a way of working that is going to leave you feeling fulfilled and motivated and energized, and you'll have the enthusiasm to work in a business that feels great for you. And don't look to see what your competitors are doing and trying to copy that. That's about looking at what you're allowed to do or what's expected of you. I always think that the beauty of having an autistic and ADHD brain is we get to think differently. We get to think outside the box in creative ways So look for the opportunity to add more value, to do something differently, to get somebody a result quicker, better, faster, in a more enjoyable way. Where do you have the opportunity to add something special that nobody else is doing? So making sure you create a business that feels aligned to the way you want to live your life and what you want to offer, where the value is really going to help you to stay motivated and connected to your business. And the third point is to focus on what you're good at. You do not need to be good at everything. Nobody is good at everything. And if they tell you that they are, they're not being honest with you, or they're completely delusional. This was something that was incredibly difficult for me to comprehend, and really only my diagnosis gave me this. When I realised that as a neurodivergent woman, I had this spiky profile, and I talk about this on one of my courses and I talk about it in other videos. But what I'm referring to is, rather than having a uniform set of skills that I'm average at, I have some things that I can do exceptionally well, I excel at, they're easy to me, they're enjoyable. But equally, I have other things that are incredibly difficult, they're frustrating, and some skills are impossible. I am the woman that can add up a column of numbers 3 times in a row and get a different answer every single time. I'm not a mathematical genius. I had always beaten myself up about my lack of ability to process numbers. I didn't realise I had dyscalculia, so I just thought I was stupid with numbers and I couldn't do it. And I would go out of my way to not let anybody else see that. I was ashamed of that inability, I was embarrassed, and I did everything I possibly could to get by on my own without asking for help. The moment that I realised that I wasn't supposed to be good at everything was the moment that I reached out and asked for help. And I'd really encourage you to look at the areas you enjoy, the areas that come easily to you and naturally to you, and focus your energy there. Look to bring in the support you need in any other business critical areas that are not within your natural skill set. Some of that might mean that you can automate through systems. There might be tools or techniques that you can use that automate, that mean you don't ever have to look at that particular area of your business. An example of that for me was in my private practice clinic. Everything's automated. Clients book online, forms get sent out, reminders get sent out. I don't have to worry about the admin. It's beautiful. So what can you look to do to automate? But equally, where do you need somebody else's support? So who can you bring in that might offer you some admin support? That might be a business strategist that helps you bring your ideas together and formulate a plan. Somebody that can help you with your bookkeeping or your accounts. Anything where you know that's not your skill set, you don't enjoy it, it's frustrating. Because the false economy, in my personal experience and speaking to hundreds of other business owners, has been that we focus on the areas we believe are our weaknesses and we should be better at. Do better, try harder. But there's no point doing that. It feels like it's difficult sometimes to spend money in your business when you think, I'm an entrepreneur, I've just started, I'm going to do everything on my own. But I like to look at it like this, that when my time and my energy is freed up to focus on where I add value and my key skills are, that's where I'm most valuable in my business. That's where I'm going to progress. I'm going to be able to innovate, to set up new products, new services, to be out there talking to people. Because if my time is spent on the areas I find difficult, frustrating, or impossible, I'm going to make a mess of it. It's going to waste hours and hours of my time. It's going to drain me of energy. It's going to lead to burnout and overwhelm. So that's not a good use of my time. And I like to think of it when I bring people into my business to give support, that I'm giving someone else the opportunity to shine, to use their strengths and their skill set. Nobody's supposed to do everything on their own. We're not supposed to be good at everything. So I'd really love you to get your head around that. So just to recap on those 3 tips. Number 1, let go of all the negative narrative and the beliefs that you might hold from corporate. Start afresh. Number 2, create a business that works for you, that works with your energy, your focus, and enables you to create a life that's going to be really fulfilling on every level. Number 3, focus on what you're good at. Bring in the support and the help that's going to help you achieve your goals and free your energy and time up to do what you do really, really well. I hope you find that helpful. It's so exciting taking that leap from being an employee to being your own boss to being an entrepreneur, a founder, a business owner. It's equally terrifying and exciting, but I really want you to start that journey in the best possible way that you can. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can comment on the video, reach out on socials, drop me an email at hello@autisticjoyologist.co.uk. Check out some of the resources I've created, because they're absolutely there to help guide you and get you to where you want to be as quickly and as an enjoyable way as possible. Take care, and I wish you every success.